Hey guys, welcome to my channel, True Sovereignty. My name's Emily. Today I want to talk about third spaces and the loneliness epidemic and how to escape the loneliness epidemic, escape your loneliness. If you're new to my channel, this channel is where we master our minds so we can reclaim our peace. Nothing but hard truths and some tough love as well on this channel. So let's get into it. So recently I went through my own loneliness experience. I moved to the middle of nowhere, 3 hours away from my hometown, people I care about. So I'm essentially here alone. And it got to the point at about the 6-month mark where I realized I needed to get out of my house and do something. Like, I didn't really know what to do because I had never had to do that before. I've always had friends at the ready, a phone call away, a drive away. So I needed to do something different this time. I know a lot of people are in this situation. The situation is you don't even know where to start because it's something you haven't had to do before, which is like stepping outside of your comfort zone. I think that's the scariest part. I think people don't know how to step outside their comfort zones and talk to new people, especially after a certain age where you're not going to school. For me, I work remotely, so I don't even interact with my coworkers. We live far away from each other, so meeting up is not even a possibility. So some people work remotely. We're not going to school anymore, on average. And even for dating, people aren't really going out to the bars anymore. People are dating online as opposed to putting themselves out of their comfort zones and going to the bars, or again, bring up this topic, third spaces. So how did I kind of like get out of my loneliness? Well, I kind of like thought about things that I wanted to do, that I've always wanted to do, but I never, I guess, had the courage to do. And one of those things was martial arts. Martial arts teaches not only discipline, it also pushes you out of your comfort zone, can make you more confident. You can meet people with the same mindset, like a similar mindset, and it's also good exercise. So I wanted something that was kind of like productive in a sense. So martial arts was kind of my first idea, and there's lots of different types of martial arts, so I had to pick one. I learned through trial and error that Muay Thai kickboxing was a good idea for me, and that again was through trial and error. So the first thing you pick might not be the thing that you want to do, but in order to get to the conclusion of the third space you want to be in, what's your goal? Do you want to be surrounded by like-minded people? Probably. And then what's going to get you there? So for me, martial arts, obviously it's a place where people go to learn discipline and better ways of being in life. And that's kind of where I'm at, so I thought it was the perfect thing for me. I would actually suggest probably journaling or prompting ChatGPT to help figure out what a good third space for you would be through hobbies or things that you've always wanted to do but never got to do. I would say journaling on it and speaking to other people about it, or prompting ChatGPT. Those are just some ideas. Another one what for me was skateboarding. That was kind of a surprise for me because I didn't, because the type of skateboarding I've been doing is cruising, and I've always been way too intimidated to go to a skate park because I don't know how to skate parks. But when I arrived at the skate park, I immediately met people, and people just come up and talk to you. I mean, maybe it's because I'm a girl. I don't know. It's a little rare to see a girl at a skate park, but typically people will come up and talk to you. I mean, it was intimidating, but they were so relaxed and chill, and I didn't feel out of place at all. So sometimes things will surprise you. Like you'll do something out of your comfort zone, and you'll unexpectedly meet people. And it's a great experience, and I don't understand why people aren't doing this more often. For me, third spaces have made it so I can meet people all the time. I'm just meeting new people all the time. People come and go. But then there's this like male loneliness epidemic, which it's not just about dating, it's also about why men are feeling so disconnected from society. And it might be because they're not as in touch with their emotions as women are. So the relationships just don't go quite as deep. That could be what it is. In that, then I would say you have to get more in touch with your emotions. So you have to step outside your comfort zone and put yourself in a third space that you enjoy, that you want to go to. It can be free, it might cost money, it could be free. Do what suits your needs. And then you might have to figure out how to get in touch with your emotions more. Become emotionally mature. Do your shadow work, which I'll make a video on it, but doing your shadow work is essentially becoming best friends with the parts of you that you don't like, and seeing yourself in a higher regard despite all your flaws. And that's what happens when you do your shadow work. You become more confident. And you accept yourself as you are, despite your flaws. And you consider yourself to be a high value type of a person. And then with confidence comes charisma. And charisma is how charisma is like the way to interact with people. Like the best way to interact with people is to be charismatic. And that's how you become kind of like this likable, magnetic person. You just stop giving a crap what people think, and you're just yourself, and you accept people as they are, and you accept yourself as you are, and things just flow a lot more easily when you're talking to people. And I know for maybe like autistic people or people with ADHD or any type of other neurological things going on up here, it can be a lot more difficult to wrap your brain around chit chat and like small talk and talking to people. I understand that, like, we have different challenges, all of us, when it comes to socializing. Which is like with anything, it takes practice, and just because you have to practice a little harder than most people doesn't mean that it's impossible. Like I said, sometimes you just need to get around people who think like you and people who are like you and people who like to do what you like to do. And 9 times out of 10, you won't really run out of things to talk about, or you won't really have that many awkward moments or moments of rejection, it's going to be scary, it's going to be intimidating, but you got to put yourself out there. You got to get in touch with your emotions. You got to be emotionally mature. You got to do your shadow work, which is pretty much just accepting yourself as is, despite your flaws, and holding yourself in a high regard. And you gotta hold yourself accountable. You know, hold yourself accountable. Ask yourself some questions. What am I doing right now that's holding me back from connection? Am I being a hermit? Am I staying inside my house all the time? Am I not taking the opportunity to connect with people and practice? Am I holding people with too high expectations? Am I just playing victim and wallowing in my sadness? You know, that's not a very attractive trait. If you're just a wallower. You want to be more magnetic. You want to be like more or less. Not chasing, not in the energy of chasing, but in the energy of receiving, which is like, I don't care, I already have it, or I don't need it. You know, it's like being in that energy of just totally chill with how life is. So it's like, take accountability for what you're doing wrong, possibly. Like I said, I'm in the middle of nowhere, and I was still able to find people, to find friends, you know. Dating is fairly impossible, but finding friends has been not too difficult for me, honestly. I just accept people as they are, and I'm not too judgmental. If we can share a good, intelligent conversation and you're friendly enough and you respect my boundaries, typically we can be friends. And if you make an effort, you know, if we're both making an effort, then we could be friends. I mean, I know it could be different for men and maybe like straight women, because I make friends with a lot of guys because I'm like a tomboy woman. But I'm telling you, if you go places where people are of like mind and like interests, you'll find your people. I'm telling you, you will. But you gotta get offline. You gotta go outside. You gotta make the effort. I always say too, like, let people in, you know, let people in. It's okay. You can let people in. If they disappoint you, what's the big deal? Just let people in. You know, let people into your group of friends. Let people into your soul, your vulnerability. Stand out. Be friendly, be complimentary, be chill, be vibe, be a vibe. You know, dress okay, like smell nice. So, at this point, all I can say is I'm making this video because I don't understand the loneliness epidemic. Besides, you know, dating. I do understand the dating challenge. But the loneliness epidemic, like total loneliness, I don't 100% understand it. If you want to let me know what the loneliness epidemic means for you, let me know. Why can't you go out and make friends? Why can't you step out of your comfort zone even just once? Give it a try. I want you to mostly ask yourself this, but I am asking you this. What are you so afraid of? You know, again, this is not about dating. Dating's another monster, another situation, but making friends. And I also just want to say lastly, like, making friends and having a community and having a foundation of people is actually very important in your self-growth and spiritual growth and feelings of happiness and contentment and fulfillment. It's part of that. It's part of your wellness, because we're social creatures. So comment below, let me know what's holding you back. What do you think is holding you back? Why do you think there's a loneliness epidemic? The only reason I can say this is because I have been lonely and I escaped my loneliness. So if I can do it, why can't you? That's my question. But if you like videos like this, you know, a little tough love, some advice, feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And, you know, I'm not a therapist. I'm just a woman who's been through hell and back and found contentment and peace, and I want to teach that to you guys. You could always take my advice or leave it or disagree with it. I just make these videos for fun, so I want to help people. And you know, this is the calling that I have, and I'm answering that call, so that's why I'm here, for you guys. But you know, until next time, and my email's down below if you have any video suggestions or need some more personalized advice. So feel free to email me. But until next time, I'll see you later.